Honorable Men Discord, the devil in Dallas, holding a machete. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And by all means, if you have something to share on this topic, leave a comment and we'll talk about it further. But listen, I came across a news feed of a report that happened in Dallas. Now, as if the world wasn't violent enough, as if I don't constantly talk about the excess of guns on the streets, crime throughout the borough. If you live in New York, you know nothing. You know everything about the crime that's taking place in New York. I'm in different boroughs, but it's not just New York. You know it's Chicago. You know it's out there in Texas. It's there's war going on in this world. People not agreeing on how we should live, and people taking out other people because they don't agree with what some agree with. And yes, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk when I say that. But as if I haven't seen it all, this news report came in about Dallas, and unfortunate, foul, horrific, devilish murder that took place over something that had to do with a washing machine or something like that. It wouldn't even matter what it was over. Take a look at this news report, and then we'll get back to this.
From video of the suspect's arrest to when first responders arrived on scene, details into the beheading death of a motel manager are disturbing.
That stabbing, the suspect has a machete, and Fire is noticing that he is actually cutting someone's head off.
Dallas police say they were called to downtown Suites around 9:30 this morning after witnesses like this motel resident who asked not to be identified called 911.
I see this on TV, but I never seen somebody get their head chopped off.
According to a newly released arrest affidavit, the suspect got upset when the victim used a translator to tell the suspect not to use a broken washing machine in the laundry room. It says the suspect then produced a machete and started cutting and stabbing the victim.
While he was chasing him, the man was literally hollering, "Stop, stop, stop."
After running for his life, witnesses say the suspect decapitated the victim in front of his wife and son, then left his head in a dumpster. The suspect, arrested a short time later, his shirt covered in blood, has now been identified as Jordanis Cobos Martinez, a 37-year-old linked to crimes in California, Florida, and Houston. The Cuban national now charged with capital murder and on an ICE hold in the Dallas County Jail. The victim, identified by police as 50-year-old Chandra Nagamalya, who motel property owners describe as a good, hard-working person.
So yeah, you can't tell me the devil's not alive. You see him all throughout different things that are happening in this world. You see, this is, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and I know there's going to be some that agree with me, and I know there's going to be some that disagree with me. This, in my opinion, is a perfect example of what happens when there is no submission to a higher power. And I'm only using the word higher power because there's different religions out there, and I'm not here to promote a particular religion, although I am Christian, and I have to admit I don't exemplify what it is to be a Christian, but hear me out with this. When people don't subscribe to a higher power, they don't know what it is to be humble. They don't know what it is to be submissive, to obey someone, I should say something greater. Because of that, there's a bunch of lawlessness going on. Aside from the fact that, as I mentioned before, this is clear that the devil exists. And this is how we know God exists, because the acts of some of these people in this world is evident that evil exists. And if evil exists, that means good exists. There has to be a yin and a yang. You could disagree with it. You could disagree with me with that, but then just see me in the comments and let's disagree. But the evil that's taking place in this world is evident that there is a God. You don't have to believe, but that's your choice. You have the right to disagree with me on that. But with that being said, and I know I'm getting caught up for words. I'm caught up for words because the images that I saw of what happened to that man is unexcusable. Not to mention, I don't know if you caught in the video, I'm pretty sure you did, or maybe you turned your head. The guy who did that to him kicked his head into the street after doing that. I mean, how heartless could you be? How demonic can you be? And obviously there's no limit to how demonic one could be, but what's going on in this world? And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, and I'm not hoping that for the world, but it's just the reality of the times that we live in. And we could debate it, we could argue, but it's evident. The question that I ask is, what side of it are you on? Are you contributing to the downfall of human existence, or are you out there taking care of your family and being a positive light in times of darkness? And that's a legit question. Only you could answer that. I'm not here to judge people and say whether or not they are evil in spirit, but that's a question. That's homework for some of you watching this video. What side of this do you land on? And that's religion aside. Are you contributing positivity to this world, or are you a force for darkness in this world? And if you're a force for darkness, you need to change your ways. And that's just my opinion. You're going to do what you want to do, but you need to change your ways. You need to do some soul searching and figure out why you contribute. You're a contributor to darkness and evil. And I pray that if you have children, your children are the reason why you make a change, because this is crazy. I couldn't believe what I saw on the news report, and I'm actually speechless. I thought I was speechless with what happened with Charlie Kirk, but this just added another level to how speechless I am. But that's all I have on this episode. I really don't have anything else to speak about. I think we should all just take time to look at the bigger picture. If you're alive, you should be grateful that you're alive. You shouldn't be living in misery. And if you're miserable, ask yourself why you're miserable. Is there anything that you're doing or not doing to contribute to your misery? Are you trying to find your way out of that misery? Are you trying to better yourself? If you're not bettering yourself, why are you not bettering yourself? What excuses are you giving yourself every time you look at yourself in the mirror as to why you're not progressing in life? Because as a man, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm also speaking out to the subscribers, the viewers of this channel, it's up to us to take initiative and do better. It's just not going to happen overnight, and no one can make you do better. You have to want to do better, and you have to first start by avoiding excuses and letting those excuses hold you back. And you might be saying, what does this have to do with what the guy in Dallas did? This has a lot to do with what the guy in Dallas did. What's his issue? What drove him to darkness? That's a dark spirit that would allow someone to do something like that to another human being with a machete. Same darkness that allowed the shooter to murder Charlie Kirk. At the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was a human being. And by the way, I did eventually see the rest of the videos of the content that has the black folk up in arms about Charlie Kirk and what he stood for. And I understand why they were upset. Because at the time when I shot the first video on Charlie Kirk, I did not see all the content that he had spewed about black people in the manner in which he said it. But let me tell you right now, even with me seeing all the extra videos on Charlie Kirk, as one human being to another, I still see it as unacceptable to celebrate someone dying the way that he died. It's not up for us to take another person's life. And for those of you that claim that you're Christian out there, you know that the scripture says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. It's not ours. I know it's easier said than done, but it's not ours to be taking other people's lives. I don't have to like anybody that jumps in my comments with negativity and tries to disrespect me, but I don't want to see anything happen to those people either. All right? And that's just words. Because if I'm not mistaken, the shooter had no interaction with Charlie Kirk. Absolutely no interaction with Charlie Kirk, but he felt compelled, maybe due to what recently came out about his relations with the roommate of his. Maybe he felt compelled to or driven by an evil spirit to go and do what he did. But he just threw his whole life away. He can deny it all he wants, but fingerprints were left on the rooftop when he jumped off or when he climbed up. It's just, he's gonna do the time, and they're gonna seek the death penalty. And was it worth it? You're just throwing your life away. And for what? Because an opinion of somebody else? There's a lot of opinions out there that I don't agree with. And let me just state another thing. In terms of Democrats and Republicans, I don't subscribe to either one of them. I'm more concerned with who has the closest belief system that I have. And that's how I go about doing things. But I wasn't born into this world as a Democrat or a Republican. So the fact that there's some Americans out there arguing, wasting energy on this, who's a Democrat, who's with the Republican Party, I think is just ridiculous. We're too grown for this. But that's my thoughts on this. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in daily. And again, if you have something to share, I'll be there in the comments to discuss it with you. But outside of that, everyone be safe. God bless. And as always, stay humble and stay honorable. Take care.